Quick recap on the game. It was a hard-fought game, tough game. I thought USC was well prepared. I thought Clay did a great job of getting his football team ready. They got off to a great start. We took some shots early on, sustained the body blows, if you will. Hate using analogies like that. You guys will figure out how to write that the right way. And we're able to get out of the first half, with the game in reach. We made some adjustments, and I thought we really got the game back in our hands in the second half. Defensively, turned the tide and the flow of the game. Really had a number of opportunities to extend, and we didn't finish off drives. It's been kind of a little bit of a problem the last couple of weeks with not finishing drives, but very, very happy and pleased with the way our guys were just gritty today. We've had different games each week, in terms of where we've played really well, dominated our opponent, or have had an easy way of it, if you will. This game, our guys needed to have a sustained effort for 4 quarters and had to be gritty. And, they had that trait today. And there's different ways to win a game. Today they showed that. So I'm really proud of them. It's hard to win 12 games. There are so many things out there that can distract not only kids but coaches. And just really, really pleased and proud of my football team and everybody that is associated with it. So those are kind of my feelings about the game in general. And 12 wins is it's hard to do, and I'm really proud of our guys. So. Well, we were giving him free access to the field, and so he was in great rhythm. We had to get him out of that rhythm. So we played some zone coverage, rolled the corner, took away some of those free access throws, and it got us back into a better down and distance situation, got him behind the chains a couple of times, and got control back where we had lost a little bit of the control because they had all of those free access throws and had a number of short yardage situations where they could control the flow of the game.
You feel your team is among the top 4 in the country?
I think the way we played consistently to win all of our games against, I think, 4 top 25 teams, to win every week and the schedule that we play. I mean, we're in L.A. this week, I think. We're like an on-Broadway show. We open up in a city near you. We were in New York last week, Chicago, San Diego. Travel affects people, and it doesn't affect this group. So if you give us a little bit of a rest and allow us to play in a neutral site, I think we'll play even better.
Where you were literally 2 years ago tonight to where you are now, where does sort of like Matt Bayless fit into that rebuild and sort of rebranding?
Pete, there's so many people that are involved in this, right? Matt Bayless got the game ball. So I think everybody understands that a lot of things had to change, including myself. It started with me and, how we did things on a day-to-day basis. And Matt Bayless is certainly part of that equation.
Jack Swarbrick credits you for making the changes with him, kind of hand in hand. How difficult is it to make those kind of changes, those internal changes, when you've had success in the past doing things the way you always did?
We made changes, but we still had a core and we still had a foundation. We made some subtle changes to what we were doing on a day-to-day basis, and a lot of them had to do with the way I handled things on a day-to-day basis. So I don't want this thing to get away from us. It still had to do with player development. It still had to do with our players going out on the field and executing at a high level. We didn't reinvent the wheel here. we got our players to play at a higher level with better execution. And so behind the scenes, we did make some tweaks, but the players need to get. They've won 22 out of their last 25 games, and on the backs of players making plays.
New defensive coordinator, new special teams coach. I mean, that's more than tweaks.
It is. There's no question. There's different personnel, but the same leaders there, and the same players were developed over that period of time, and they had to go out and execute. And so I don't want to lose sight of the fact that players still had to get us to this point.
Now, in this day and age, some ADs would have fired you too.
Yeah, that could have been the case as well. But that wasn't really what was on the forefront of my mind. Yeah, and what we were thinking about is what were the subtle changes that we needed to make internally, because we had a strong core of young players that needed to be developed, and we saw that today. If we didn't have this strong core of young players that needed to be developed, we wouldn't be winning 22 out of our last 25 games. We'd be going, hey, we made a lot of great changes, and we're still 7-5.
Right. First time this season, those players were down 2 possessions to 9-10-0. What did you learn about the team, or some guys in particular, at that moment?
You know, the sideline was confident that they just needed to stay the course, and there wasn't any panic. You know, our defense felt like they needed to play better. I thought Clark made some great adjustments at halftime in terms of making some of the coverage calls that we wanted to, and hit some of the calls that we needed to, and getting off the field. And then I thought we, you know, obviously came out in the second half with the big run. Chip did a great job of finding a way to run the football in the second half, which I thought kept them off the field. As you know, we only had 2 possessions in the first quarter. And so we kind of got that back in our favor in the second half. I thought play calling had a lot to do with it.
Brian, you mentioned how hard it is to win 12 games. How much harder is it to do it twice? And what gave you confidence year in, year out, 2012 to now?
Well, it was harder in 9 in Cincinnati, to be quite frank with you. You know, they're all difficult because, you know, you deal with distractions. And today there's so much going on in social media. There's so many things that can distract you from what the process is on a day-to-day basis. It just makes it really hard. And our kids did a great job of sticking with it and not getting outside themselves. And it just requires a lot of work on a day-to-day basis of keeping them in the lines, if you will. And I think this was the hardest of the 3.
Coach, how would you assess Ian Book's performance tonight?
We won. You know, we won the game. You know, he missed a couple here and there. You know, you don't turn it over in the red zone. He knows all that stuff. But he's human. You know, and he's going to grow from it. I wouldn't say that we would put it up with his top performance, but we went on the road against a team that played really well today, and he led our team as the quarterback at Notre Dame, and we won the football game.
An undefeated season in the last 7 years. What does that consistency say about your program?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not really. So I just got off the field, you know, and it's hard sometimes for me to do the big picture, and I understand and respect the question. And when I start on Monday, when I get off the plane into high schools, I'll go, why am I waiting for Saban? Let me in. I want to see that kid first. We're undefeated, right? I'll cop that attitude then. But certainly, you know, from a program perspective, it keeps you in that narrative of, you know, Notre Dame is significant as it relates to what our mission is: graduate all of our players and compete for a national championship.
Brian, a couple of football questions from tonight. Why were the running backs able to have success out of the backfield catching the ball
Well, you saw what I saw, right? I mean, they brought heavy pressure from the will linebacker position, and they weren't peeling, and so we had to make that adjustment at halftime. They got us early in the second quarter on we couldn't pick it up. We squeezed, and he came off the edge. So we were going to make them defend the back coming out of the backfield, and we were able to hit him, as you know, 3 times where he's undefended coming out of the backfield.
And then the secondary was giving up a bit of yardage in the first half, but they also were able to come up with those turnovers. What does that say about them? To kind of stick with it despite the...
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we needed to take away some of that free access. But having said that, this offense is built on the big play. And so you're kind of in between there in terms of, staying on top of routes versus how much do you give underneath. We needed to find a better medium in the second half, and I thought we did.
You watched the playoff selection show before, and how nice would it be to have your work done?
Yeah. Yeah, no question. So we didn't watch it purposely, and that came from the captains as a directive. We turned it off in our dining hall. We didn't have it on. They didn't want to see it. But the first thing they said to me is that they'll have it on Tuesday. So we'll all watch it. I think the selection show is Sunday. So we'll be on the road, and then we'll have a team meeting, and we'll watch it on Sunday together.
Did you think you needed to win today's game to get in there? I mean, 11-1, you're kind of in that.
We had no conversation about implications of in playoffs. All we talked about was what we needed to do to continue this journey of winning football games week in and week out. Never did we talk about the implications of what if we lost, what if we win. I don't know that we talked once this year about winning football games. We talked about what we needed to do to play to our standard, and that's really it. This young lady's she's had her hand up like 18 times. Is it going to be a really good question? Awesome. I'm ready.
You talk about the physical aspect, but I want to know how Dr. Selking in her full second year has impacted the mental impact of the team as well, and helped you.
Yeah, she's been a great addition. Anytime you talk about mental performance, it's an important part of your total preparation for your football team. And she's been a great addition to our staff. And, I think, look, we talked about it earlier, right? To win consistently, you have to have a consistent message. And she's given our guys great tools to get them in the right place week in and week out. Good? I'm a hugger. I'm a hugger.